Hello guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to create an attractive glowing thumbnail. You can use this technique to help you make eye-catchy thumbnails that make people want to click. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get straight into the video. Okay guys, so let's create a new file and let's keep the dimensions to 1920 by 1080, keep all the other options the same and click create. So before I do anything else, the first step that I want to do guys is I want to change the color of the background. So let's go to solid color and I'm just going to paste in the background color that I want. So we are going to have a sort of maroonish color as the background. Click OK, and let's now add our subject. Okay guys, so here I have an image of a subject which I've just simply cut out using the select subject method. So just press select subject and then just mask the subject out. What I have also done is I have just added a slight rotation to this image. As you can see, it's on a bit of an angle like so. So I'm just going to undo that, and I have also enhanced the image using the dodge and burn technique. So if you want to learn how to do that, I've made a full tutorial, a full guide on how you can go ahead and enhance your images using the dodge and burn technique. So go and watch that video. Okay, so moving on to the glow effect. Now for this technique, we will be stacking layers of glows to the subject and we will be using blending modes to help enhance the glow effect. And I'll show you how that's done. So the first step guys of this glow effect is to add an inner glow to the subject. So let's just double click and then click on inner glow like so. Now we want to keep the orange to the hex code you see right here. So just click OK. And you also want to make sure that the blending mode is set to linear dodge add and that the opacity is set to 50%. Now I've kept the size of the glow to 57 pixels because we want enough of the orange to be inside of the subject. So now let's just click OK. The next step will be to add another layer of glow on top of this inner glow. So in order for us to do this, we first need to right click on the first inner glow and then create a layer. That's just going to put that glow effect into its own separate layer. Then we can go back to the subject layer and we can then repeat this step. So we are going to click on inner glow once again and we are just going to ever so slightly increase the size. So let's just take this up to 60 pixels. Let's just input 60 pixels like so. And then we want to make sure that the opacity is set to 50 and that the blending mode is set to linear dodge add. So exactly the same as the last layer. We are also keeping the color of the glow exactly the same. Click OK. And we will then repeat the same process. So we are going to right click and create a layer. And we now need to repeat this step one more time whilst adjusting the settings as you will see right now. So just double click once more and we are going to click on inner glow. And I'm just going to now change the color of this to a more lighter orange. Something like this should do the trick. And we also want to change the opacity to 100%. Let's then also decrease the size because we want this to act as a rim light. So we want this to be relatively small. 21 pixels should do the trick. And let's now once more just right click on inner glow and then just create a layer. Okay, so at this point guys, you should have 3 inner glow layers, 2 of which are the same color, and the final inner glow will just be a lighter shade of that color. Now if I just zoom in guys, as you can see, we are starting to get the beginnings of a nice glow effect. Now before we can proceed forward, we just need to remove the glow effect which has been applied to the bottom of the image. As you can see right here, there is some glow and we simply do not want that to be there. So let's just get rid of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply just going to highlight any of the glow layers and I'm just going to create a mask like so. Make sure that you press B for the brush tool now and just decrease the size of your brush and make sure that the flow is set to 100%. And we want the main color set to black because we want to conceal this glow here. Okay, so then we will just paint over the glow like so, and then with the layer mask selected, we will simply just hold Alt or Option and then just drag the layer mask to the other glow layers, and that's just going to duplicate the exact layer mask to those layers. And as you can see right now, we now have the glow effect completely removed from the bottom of the image. Okay guys, it's now time to add some outer glow to our subject. So let's just double click on the subject layer and then click on outer glow. So I have the settings set already. We want to keep the opacity to 50% and we want to keep the same color as the initial 2 glows that we did. So that's the hex code for this orange, and we want to keep the size to about 62. So we want some of the glow to spread out but not too far. so 62 pixels should be fine, and then click OK. But we're not done yet, guys, so what we need to do again is we just need to right click on outer glow and then create a layer, and we just need to repeat this process one more time. So let's just double click on the subject and then click on outer glow once more. We will keep the color of the glow the same, and we just want to increase the opacity of this to 100%. Let's then just decrease the size ever so slightly to something like, let's say 30 pixels. So let's just type 30 pixels will do the trick. And as you can see, guys, we've created a really nice glow effect. What I like to do at this stage, guys, is I like to color grade my subjects to match the color of the glow. So for example, in this case, because we have an orange glow, I just want to color grade the subject and give the subject a orange tint. So let's have the subject layer selected, and let's just go to the adjustment layers and then click on color balance. So what I will do is I'll start off in the midtones. So let's just adjust and let's go more to the reds. So let's add some reds, +4, add some magentas, let's do -2, and let's increase some yellows. So let's just bring this back ever so slightly, -5, and let's just go to the highlights. Let's do the same thing. So let's just increase the reds ever so slightly. Let's do +3. Maybe we'll keep the magentas to -1. Let's also add some yellows. So let's just take this to -3. Let's go to the shadows now, finally, and let's just do the same thing one more time. So let's just increase the reds ever so slightly, +3, -3 for the magentas, and then just add a bit more yellow, so -5. Now if I just toggle between before and after, guys, as you can see, this is before and this is after. We've just added an orange tint to the subject to help it match or blend in well with the glow. Okay, guys, so now let's just focus back on the background elements to spice up the background, because right now it's looking really plain. So right here I have an image of a sort of orange sparkly effect, which I think will look great behind the subject. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this into the document. And again, guys, I will provide the link to this image in the description. I'm just going to place this underneath the subject like so, and then we can just sort of increase the size of this image. So just press Command or Control T to transform. Let's just zoom out a little bit, and let's now hold Alt or Option and Shift, and we can just drag it like so. Now this is going to keep the texture in the same place, and let's just drag until we completely fill the canvas. So let's just move this more to the right. So I think something like this looks just fine. Let's also change the blending mode of this sparkly effect to screen. So let's just go to screen like so. And now with our sparkly layer selected, let's just make a layer mask, and let's just tone down the sparkles on the right hand side, because again, guys, we want this to be subtle. We don't want to be too overpowering with these things, because then it just looks overdone. So let's just tone things down. So press B for the brush tool, make sure that you have the black color selected, and let's just decrease the flow to 20%. And now let's just paint out some of these effects to just dim it down ever so slightly. So let's just dim out these areas. So we want the glow and the sparkles to be relatively behind the subject, not all around here, because we're going to add text in the right hand side. So let's just remove some of this from the image. Let's just remove these parts. As you can see, get rid of some of these parts, like so. We want this just to be behind the subject. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. Okay, guys, so now it's time to add some text. So what I will be typing out is how to make glowing thumbnails. So let me just type that out, and I'll be right back in just a moment. Okay, guys, so as you can see, I've added in my text, and the font we are using today is Bebas Neue Regular. Now, of course, we need to spice up this text, and this is where text effects come into play. Now, I've made 2 episodes of text effects at this current moment in time, and we will be using some of those text effects from the videos I've created to customize this type. So for the words glowing and thumbnails, I will be using my orange gradient effect. So let's just go to effects. I'm just going to go to my text effects, and I am going to use the orange one like this. And I will do the same thing for thumbnails. So just add my text effect like that. And this is why, guys, it's really good to start building a library of text effects so that you can just seamlessly add them into your thumbnails in just seconds. And then for the text up here, how to make, I'm just going to change this to a sort of gray to white gradient. Okay, and then I'll just probably just remove the stroke. So let's just remove the stroke. I think that looks better. Now guys, if you want to learn how to make these specific gradients, just watch both of my text effects videos where you can learn exactly how to recreate these text effects. Now we can increase the glow effect of these text by simply just creating a layer above the text layers. So let's go to the layer at the top. So this would be the layer at the top, and let's just create a layer above that. And let's just now press B for the brush tool, and let's just source a color. So press Option and just source a color at the top of the text, which is a yellow. And let's just now, with a soft brush and the flow set to 100%, let's just tap over the text like so. So just do it over the top half of the text. Then let's go to the blending modes and change the blending mode to soft light. What we can then do is decrease the opacity to something like 60%. Now for the text above, I'm just simply going to do the exact same thing. So just lightly tap over the top half of the text. Now for the text at the very top, so how to make, we are just going to create another layer, and then let's just press B for the brush tool. Let's increase the brush size. Let's just source this sort of grayish color, and let's just do the same thing. So let's just paint in the middle across like so. Let's then just change the blending mode to screen, and let's just adjust the opacity until we get a good result. So let's say 20% should do the trick. Okay guys, so it's looking really good. So now just to fill in some of the negative space on the canvas, I am going to add in some YouTube icons, one right here and one on the left side, right about here. As you can see guys, I've added in my YouTube icons. I simply got them off of FreePic, and I will link these icons in the description down below. And what's left for us to do now is add some motion blur to our icons just to create the illusion of depth and movement. So let's start off with this icon. Let's just click on it and let's go to Filter, Blur, and then go to Motion Blur. And from here we can just simply adjust the angle, and I would like to actually keep the angle relatively similar to how it's placed. So something like -14, and we are just going to toggle with the distance and let's keep it at, let's say, 37 pixels, and then click OK. Then I'll just do the exact same thing. So I'm just going to click on this YouTube icon, go to Filter, Blur, and Motion Blur, and let's just adjust the angle to something like 15, and then increase the distance to, let's say, 33 pixels. Okay guys, looking really good. Now at this stage, it's really just about fine-tuning the thumbnail and making a couple of adjustments to make the thumbnail look the best that it can. So one thing that I think I can improve is probably add a bit of orange tint around the edges. As you can see, there's a lot of orange here, and on these edges it's quite bland, so I might add some orange just around the borders just to make it look more cohesive. So what I'm going to do is create a layer like so, press B for the brush tool, and I'm just going to source a color from the sparkling glow effect. So just source a color, so hold down Alt or Option, and then just click a color like so. Let's just get a nice orange, something like that will do. Let's now just decrease the flow to about 20%. Let's just zoom out a little bit, and then let's just lightly tap around the edges and just add some light like so. And then we can just zoom back in, and I'm just going to decrease the opacity of this. So we just want this to be subtle. Let's say something like 30% should do the trick. So if I just toggle between before and after, as you can see, we've just added a bit of light around the border, and it looks really good. And now for the final step, which you may have guessed, is Camera Raw Filter. So what I'm going to do is just click on the top layer and then press Command, Option, Shift and E, and that's just going to merge all the layers into one layer. What we will then do is we will go to Filter, Convert for Smart Filters, and then we will go to Filter and Camera Raw Filter. So let's start off in the light section. So let's just click on light and let's just see if we can increase the exposure. Yeah, let's just take this up to about 0.1. Let's increase the contrast, 25 pixels. Let's increase the highlights, Nope, we are going to keep that at 0. Let's play with the shadows. Maybe we can decrease it to about -7. Let's also increase the blacks. Maybe we can take this to about -4. And let's now go into effects. So let's increase the texture to +20. Increase the clarity to about +15. Let's increase the grain to 12. Let's now go into detail. Let's increase the sharpening to 30 points. And let's now go into calibration, guys, and see if we can adjust the colors ever so slightly to maybe get a better color. So let's play with the reds. Maybe we can take this a little back. Nope, to be honest, I like it how it is. So we are going to keep everything the same. Maybe we can just increase the saturation to +3. Let's also go back to color, and let's just see if we can adjust these sliders as well. So let's play with the temperature. Oh, that's good. So if you take this to the right, you actually get a nice warm color. It sort of increases the glow. So let's take this to +5. Let's increase the vibrance to +15. And let's just keep the saturation to +2. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And click OK. And there you have it, guys, a glowing thumbnail that you can recreate yourself. Now you can use this technique in your own thumbnails and add any other color that you want, and you will create really attractive thumbnails that catch the eyes of viewers and make people want to click. Now if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel because I will be posting videos just like this weekly. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video, and until next time, peace.